Now to a special NULA report, and consultations are underway across Australia as the new Labor government prepares to scrap the controversial cashless debit card. Our reporter, Karen Cox, travelled to Ceduna in South Australia, one of the first places in the country where residents were forced onto the card.
Josephine Brooks is one of the 1,000 people in the Ceduna area on the cashless debit card. She usually lives in the remote town of Yalata, about 2 hours down the road, but is in town for shopping and medical appointments.
At first I didn't like it, didn't want it, but everybody else was on it, so we all got on it. They forced us to go on it, and then when I've been on it for a while, bit good and then sometimes no good.
In the program, 80% of income support payments can only be used at approved businesses or providers.
Good things, you can save money on the card, and I buy a lot of food for myself because I'm diabetic at home, buy things. Sometimes it's too dear to buy things.
The new federal government is consulting communities including Ceduna as it moves to scrap the card, 6 years after the first trial first started here. For Josephine Brooks, this day can't come soon enough.
If you had the choice, would you stay on the card or would you leave the card?
I leave the card. But I have two ways. I like the card, but I don't like it. If you got no money and there's money in the injury and the thing doesn't work well, bad luck.
Hayden Patterson has been making trips to Ceduna for 6 years in his role as a financial counsellor, helping people to navigate the card.
It's just the restrictive nature of the card, so they can't do normal things. People who are on low income support tend to be able to make their dollar go a lot further, but most of those options have been taken away from those on the card, so they can't go to garage sales and they can't buy things online like anyone else can.
He says the card has been a problem for people living in remote areas near Ceduna, and people I met at Bookerbee told me off camera that it has been difficult. But Russell Bryant, a pastor in Yalata, has been on the card for 3 years and says it makes it easier for transferring money to his kids if they need help.
I got 5 kids, and one day I had another community, maybe day out for like shopping, or maybe I had another roadhouse. They asked me for money, so I transferred money straight away because they got the same card what I got, into card.
A recent report from the Australian National Audit Office found a 6-year trial has failed to show a reduction in social harm. Back in Ceduna, Leroy Bilney has many family members on the card and says he's seen many problems with it. One of the biggest issues has been the lack of consultation, a lesson he hopes a new government will take on board as it moves to take the card voluntary.
Feels like a bit of roadkill, you know, just goes on and on this conversation. And I think also the reason behind that is because whilst many people have voiced their opinion, it didn't go anywhere, or we'd never seen any kind of formal response or action that came from it. So I think in some ways a lot of people, myself included, just almost like we're over it. Me personally, I don't see the card has done a great deal of change. We still have issues in the communities, and if not, the issues have gone even worse. We see an increase of services in the community itself, but at the same time we don't see real long sustainable solutions to anything either. When you hear people talk about the positive stories, well, you don't see them. You don't see that positive stories. What you do see is you still see our mob dying when they shouldn't be dying at the age that they're dying at, still being chronically ill because of alcohol abuse or whatever substance misuse that's happening. And whilst all that is happening, you see families struggling to support those types of people that's going through it, and yet we're in a community of 3,000 people with all these services, and yet I still don't witness or see.
Discovery by the Australian War